I'm back with another one. Back with another. What is this? Episode 4 of We Own the City. Jenkins pivots after a car chase yields no drugs. During an FBI interview, former officer Marcus Ward recalls how Jenkins remained unscathed as supervisor of GTTF. Still confronts Davis. The city is rocked by the Freddie Gray protest. Yeah, all that did happen. But I got to talk about the most important thing of episode 4. And that's midgets getting robbed. Stripper midget getting robbed of her money. Let me tell you something. If you're in a country, what good is this country if a midget stripper can't earn a decent living at the strip club without being robbed by a police officer? Ridiculous. Flat out ridiculous. That's what it is. That's just flat out ridiculous. That Wayne Jenkins, he just delivers, don't he? He never fails to deliver. That Wayne Jenkins. Every episode, Wayne Jenkins just constantly delivers. Got to give it to him. And then we go to the end of episode 4 where they go in this guy's house. They pull a guy over on the street. And they don't just stop there and rob him and take his money when they pull him over on the street. They like, oh, wait a minute. This guy probably sell drugs. He probably got money at the house. They find the guy's address and go to the man's house and rob him too. They took all that money out that man's safe. But the funniest part to me was, once again, Wayne freaking Jenkins. Wayne Jenkins, the way that they reenact opening the safe. And then they got the camera going. Wayne Jenkins come in there. Wait a minute. We follow procedure. Just by the books. By the books. That was just funny to me. What's his name? That Jonathan Bottom or whatever his name is. He doing a good job with that Wayne Jenkins, man, I tell you. Not to mention when Wayne Jenkins got his sergeant stripes, the way he went around calling it Wayne Jenkins Day and slapping his arm. Hilarious. You got to give it to him. Man, oh man. That's episode 4, man. Episode 4, as usual. Wayne Jenkins, he does his thing, don't he? Moving on to episode 5. Jensen, however you say that last name, and his U.S. attorney, Leon Wise, prepare to charge the GTTF officers. Suitor feels community distrust as he works a homicide, sensing that his past is closing in on him. Steele and Davis seek support from the new mayor. You got that right. Yeah, episode 5, man. Episode 5 was as we know, the story progressed and they're showing all this heinous stuff that these officers are doing, which I'm not surprised. And none of us should be surprised that unless you've been living on a rock, if you know how law enforcement works in this country, you shouldn't be surprised at how heinous these guys were and how many lives these guys ruined. Thousands of lives, So, there were only probably about 3 things that stuck out with me on this. And that would be Wayne Jenkins. The scene where Wayne Jenkins pretended to be the federal. Numerous times we've seen him pretend to be a federal agent, acting like people are just stupid. Like, don't nobody know Can't nobody tell that he's a regular police officer, but he telling people I'm a federal agent. That was hilarious, man. Just flat out hilarious. And that scene where he talking to the big time dope dealer guy that got that big house out there in Westminster or whatever it is. That scene where he got the Baltimore Orioles shirt on and they sitting up in this little bitty office and they crowded around him talking about he's a federal agent, Wayne Jenkins. Hilarious. Once again, every episode Wayne Jenkins deliver, man. Every episode. Every episode. And that was hilarious to me. And going all the way to the very end, where they're all going to the Internal Affairs building, and they don't know they finna get arrested. And they show each officer getting out their car one by one. And the officer they show, this guy right here. Let me pull up this guy, man. This guy right here, man. This guy right here. This guy. What the hell was he wearing when he got out that car? What the hell was he wearing? What the hell, man, was he wearing? The dude that played his character, Gundo. The Gundo guy right here. What the hell was he wearing, man? You know what I'm saying? Get that out of here. What the hell was he wearing, man? Like, you saw that dude, he looked like one of the members of the time. Like he looked like he was a drummer for Prince back in the day, the way he was dressed. I mean, he had on that doggone Gundo. He had on a little ugly little high top fade. Then he had like a purple silk shirt on and some tight ass black pants and some loafers. Who the hell wears some loafers? They look like some Louis Vuitton loafers. Who the hell wears some loafers and a silk shirt and you work on the gun task force and law enforcement? He know he wanted to get arrested. He was begging to get arrested. He just couldn't sit on all that money, could he? That's a Negro for you. Giving yourself away. He couldn't sit on that money. Dumbass. He had to go out and wear. I mean, if you want to buy that stuff and wear that stuff on your off day, but he made it worse. He wore the stuff to work. You don't think people be watching you at work? When you work these jobs and all these broke people at these jobs, they watch everything you wear. They watch everything you wear. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. Most of you probably don't because you just don't have nice things to wear, But some people just wear normal. We just wear normal stuff. They're just normal to us. Like a polo shirt like this is just normal to some people like me. And some nice, decent, some little tennis shoes or some BS Jordans or some crap like that. That ain't nothing, no big deal or nothing. But you wear that stuff to work, you got people staring you up and down like you a millionaire or something. They looking at you. Ooh, they making a big deal about it. So Gundo ought to know damn better than to come up there with a silk ass shirt, some Louis Vuitton loafers, and it looking like he just got his outfit out of Saks Fifth Avenue, looking like a member of the Prince and the Time Band back in the late 80s. He ought to know better than that. But you know what? Your typical Negro, they get a little money, they got to show out in front of a bunch of broke people. They got to try to impress a bunch of broke people. That's your typical Negro right there. That's just how we are, unfortunately. Not everybody, but that's how a lot of us are. And it leads to our downfall a lot of times. That mentality. And Sean, my guy here, my guy Sean right here, this guy right here, my guy Sean right here, looks like his that guilt is getting to him at the end. So I just want to see moving on into predictions. Yeah, so moving on to predictions to episode 6. What I'm looking forward to is my guy Sean that I just showed. I want to see what Sean. One or two things is gonna happen with Sean. Either the feds are gonna find out about him and bring him into it, or Sean is the guilt is going to eat at Sean so bad that he's going to come out and speak on and tell on himself. I think it's the second way. Sean gonna probably speak out and tell on himself, probably. But we're gonna see how this thing is wrapped up. We're gonna see how this thing, um, how it really how they end up all getting caught. And well, they say they got a task force and all that. But just to give out a little heads up, the real reason that this got caught, these guys end up getting caught, and I mean end up getting arrested, all these officers, was because out in the suburbs of the Baltimore area, there was this white teenage girl that got some drugs, took some drugs at a party, and overdosed and died. When they went and traced the drugs to see where the drugs came from, the drugs led to an officer. The drug dealer who sold the girl the drugs got it from an officer who was a part of the gun task force at Baltimore. And that is what brought down all these officers. See, they probably, I know they not. We got one more episode to go, but I know they probably not going to mention that. They're not going to mention that. They probably, you got to listen to the podcast or the HBO podcast to hear all that good stuff. But that is what caused these guys to really be arrested. A white teenage girl had to die. Not the thousands of black people who were terrorized and lives were changed and terrorized down there in Baltimore. It was a innocent, a poor white teenage girl out in the suburbs got overdosed, and that's what brought these guys down. But anyway, we're going to see how the television show decides to show all, the ending of this. We know they all get caught. We know they go to jail. We know a lot of them start telling on Jenkins. So I wonder in this last episode, is Jenkins going to do something funny? Now, that's the question. Is Jenkins going to do something funny? All these other 5 episodes, he's been hilarious. But let's see in this last episode. If you're still watching, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, share this with other people that are into this television show. I appreciate it. This is a good show. And I'll be back with the last episode. Until next time.